Ain't no angel gonna greet me. It's just you and I, my friend. And my clothes don't fit me no more. I've walked 1,000 miles just to slip this skin.
So we've covered some Springsteen music before. We've covered Dancing in the Dark, and Joe and I have recently been talking about this other song, Highway Patrolman from Nebraska. But we were thinking, what could we cover that is from a film and which is really connected to that mood of the film? And Streets of Philadelphia is a very powerful song. I really remember when it came out and the soundtrack to the film being so special, and also the video to the song being quite powerful as well. It's something that maybe it's not that obvious to Hot Chip fans that we would be Bruce Springsteen fans, but I find the way that we can sing together, and Rob, who was playing with us on that version, is a big fan too. There is a kind of intimacy in the way that the voices work together, and the songwriting is so good that it's quite nice for us to lean into that kind of music, which is more sparse, and it's not an up-tempo electronic track, but it's a bit like the mood of some of our own ballads, maybe.
I really remember when it came out, being surprised and really in love with the kind of production on the song as well, which is quite lo-fi and has a kind of like more electronic elements than Springsteen sometimes uses. It has a kind of keyboard sound that sounds quite similar to this like little Casio keyboard that we used to use on all of our records, and so I really remember like loving the production of it. It's quite lo-fi and quite simple, and he kind of mumbles the words, but it felt really powerful and quite moving. And I remember us both kind of really enjoying it when it was released, so it felt like a natural thing for us to do today.
I think with some of our own covers we've done over the years, they've often been big classic songs. We've covered things like Sinead O'Connor, the Prince-written song, Nothing Compares to You. We've covered Springsteen before. We've covered Everywhere by Fleetwood Mac. Sometimes the things that we are drawn towards are very well-known, quite emotional songs, quite big songs, epic songs, and in a way you could be really intimidated by those songs because they're so perfectly produced and they're incredible, but we don't try and be too worried about how we don't worry about it needing to be like the original. If the song has been in our own heads for years because we've known it, it's much easier to kind of find a way to make it your own because you've just absorbed it when you were a young kid or growing up, and then I feel like we know we're not going to do it like the original. We're not going to try and put all those same elements in, so it becomes its own more Hot Chip thing just naturally. Yeah, I remember I think probably the Bruce Springsteen song told me about this film, as a kind of trailer for the film, and then either we went to see it together or I definitely would have seen it at the same sort of time that it was in the cinema. And yeah, I remember feeling like it's quite a brave film, and it's a very good film to exist at that point in time, to kind of put the spotlight on AIDS and kind of work within a mainstream medium to talk about something which maybe was a bit more hidden, or not, people weren't really referring to it, even if it's not truly hidden, it's very obvious, but something that people weren't really reflecting on in such mainstream world. And the music helps to kind of make the film very accessible too, because if you have these songs like you've got Sade and Neil Young and Peter Gabriel as well as Bruce Springsteen, there's a lot that's going to draw people to that film. So it's another way of kind of getting people to kind of focus on the sentiment of the film.
Yeah, I kind of agree. There are obviously songwriters where lyrically songs really feel like you're immediately within a kind of a landscape and a scene, and there are details to do with parts of that scene that make it very clear that songwriter has kind of imagined themselves in a particular situation or as a particular character. But yeah, I think Hot Chip's music is not so much of that nature. lyrics are generally kind of more impressionistic and kind of, you know, emotional, and less about kind of setting a particular kind of visual scene. Yeah.
Gonna leave me wasting away on the streets of Philadelphia.